Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got 3 videos for you tonight. The first one is with Judge Ricky, and this is a revisit. This is the couple where they had lived in California, they split up, mom moved to Kansas, and then she said that to have this custody case in California is inconvenient for her. So she petitioned to have it moved to Kansas. They gave the ruling while I was out of town, but she won. She was able to transfer the case to Kansas. This is their first hearing with Judge Ricky. I'll let you guys watch that. And then there's a traffic one with Judge Hayward. And then one you've probably already seen with Judge Washington, but I thought I'd show it anyway because I think it's funny. So I'll let you guys watch those.
Titled, in the matter of Benjamin Bravo Hernandez and Monica O'Rourke Bravo, case number 2024 DM 309. Benjamin Bravo Hernandez appears on his own Zoom, as does Monica Bravo, who also appears by Zoom audio-visual. This matter comes before the court at this time, really for the first time, for substantive matters concerning the Kansas case. The court will note that following a series of proceedings under the UCC JEA, the judge in California, Judge Glenda Allen Hill, conducted a hearing, made determinations that California was an inconvenient forum to maintain child custody jurisdiction, and in essence transferred child custody jurisdiction to this Kansas court case. This has been documented by a journal entry prepared by this court, which I trust each party received. Benjamin? All right. So the matter comes before the court, the Kansas court at this time, essentially to determine if there are controversies which exist between the parties. And I will preface that by saying that there was a trial in California relatively recently, in fact, this summer, that resolved many child custody and parenting time issues in the case. So following that trial and determination, is there anything currently before the court that needs to be addressed? I'll ask Monica first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am requesting a review of the orders of the visitation orders that were placed in effect in June from California, primarily because for 2 points, they have the children flying to California 12 times a year, which I believe is not in the children's best interest and would be very disruptive to their lives here. Additionally, the order was based off of California school schedules, and as it is written, it would require the children to be in California and miss well over a month of school, and I do not believe it is in the best interest of the children. As such, I would like to have the current orders reviewed for their appropriateness based on the factors that are present in Kansas.
All right.
That were not taken into consideration in California.
All right. California obviously has a different school schedule. What type of educational programs are each of the two, I think it's both sons from this relationship, what are they currently in?
The 11-year-old is a 6th grader at Andover Central Middle School. The 13-year-old is an 8th grader at Andover Academy Middle School.
Explain what Andover Academy is.
Andover Academy is a hybrid program where he does a portion of his schooling online and a portion in person. They have a campus in Andover.
How often is he in person?
Usually twice a week. It depends. Sometimes once a week. It depends on the school schedule.
So does someone other than you or him determine when he goes to the school building for attendance?
Yeah, they have a set schedule. It's not a just whenever you show up.
Okay. Did Benjamin approve this school attendance of these two boys, Benjamin?
Say that again.
Did you approve the types of school programs these kids are in?
I didn't have a choice at the time. That was my ex's decision to place him in those schools. But
Was it discussed with you?
huh?
What was it?
Uh,
Did she discuss it with you?
no, she didn't discuss it with me. No.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me just ask you then, are you opposed to that type of school program for these two boys continuing?
Actually, before we started all these court hearings, my boys used to be homeschooled. Uh, so, um, but as I understand it, Ben gets to decide when he goes to school. When I went to visit Andover E Academy, they told me that it was up to him whether he wanted to show up to school or not. But it was all based off of he could do it from home if he wanted to do most of his work. Sam definitely has to go to school.
All right, I'm looking at the California order, and folks, you should just know that because the most recent California custody and parenting time decree has been filed in the Kansas case, no further transfer of documents need to take place. I have the current order to be enforced and or modified by the Kansas court. But for now, whatever the current California custody and parenting time order is, that's what the order is in the case that you're to follow. It does, at least at first glance, appear to be inconsistent with traditional school attendance in Kansas. It actually calls for a period of weekend visits to take place, and I'll ask, there were to be 2 weekend visits. Okay, phase 3 is what I guess I'm looking at. Upon the completion of 3 full weekend visitation Friday to Sunday, how many of those have taken place, Monica?
He has completed 4 of the 5 required visitations for phases 1 and 2. He completed
Okay.
phase 1, which was 2 visitations. He's completed 2 of the 3 for phase 2. The process began in January. So he was assigned to visit January, February, March, April, and May. He visited January, February, and March, as those were during the hearing in January. I raised significant concerns regarding the ability to come to an agreement and schedule visitations. As such, the judge scheduled January, February, and March visitations on our behalf, and he attended those. I attempted to schedule visitations in April and May. He did not come during the month of April, did not come during the month of May, did not come during the month of June. He reached out to schedule visitation in July and August. We confirmed a visitation in July that was completed. No visitation since then has been confirmed. I have given him multiple weekends that the children are available for visitation in August, September, and October, but there has not been a confirmation of a visitation. He requested a weekend in August to visit. And I had 3 weeks prior to his request, I had let him know that the children would not be available for visitation that weekend, as we already had travel plans for that weekend. And he chose to come to Kansas anyways, but I had let him know 3 weeks prior to his request that we would not be available for visitation that weekend. So there is still 1 more visitation left to complete for phase 2, prior to phase 3 being enacted.
All right. Benjamin, what would your response be to Monica's statements?
Yeah. So when this whole situation actually took place, I tried to schedule my flight. Obviously, it's kind of difficult scheduling flight, taking time from work, scheduling with Monica. Monica will give me certain times that she's available. that doesn't necessarily work with my work schedule. And so, it's kind of hard to, kind of difficult to schedule with Miss O'Rourke. I actually scheduled a flight, I think it was like January 2025. And after the court initially, it gave us the court hearing or gave us the custody order. So I scheduled my flight. She told me that the boys were not available. And so I had to cancel my flight, and I lost money on my flight. Then I scheduled a few more times, and then I thought I had completed what I believed to have completed the number of visits. And then we went before the court hearing or the court, and the judge told me that I had to schedule two more, which I did. I think one was in June, and then the next one that I did, I tried to schedule again with Miss O'Rourke. It's like the court initially, when they gave us the paperwork, they just said that I had to give Miss O'Rourke a 48-hour notice ahead of time so that she could make adjustments to the schedule, so that I could to make the boys available, since I'm the one that's traveling out to Kansas. And I told Mr. O'Rourke that this was the only time that I had available from work. So I took the time, I scheduled my flight, and I went out there and tried to see my kids. But this has been an ongoing situation.
So tell me what happened when you got here. This was in
So
August,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I
Okay.
actually have an Andover police report from the Andover Police Department stating that I tried to see my kids on that day. I tried to schedule with the visitation site. They said that Miss O'Rourke was not going to make the boys available for the visit. And again, I tried to reach out to Miss O'Rourke various times, but she wouldn't. And I think, to be honest with you, it's my belief that she was waiting for the Kansas court to take over this custody situation to change the terms of my visits. And this has been an ongoing situation where Ms. O'Rourke makes it as difficult as possible for me to have access to our boys. There's no reason why she shouldn't have made the boys available. As to it was my understanding that they went to Dallas. They drove to Dallas because the boys shared that they had gone to Dallas to visit her family. In my opinion, if it was Miss O'Rourke and the other in my shoes, I would not have taken my boys to go visit extended family as opposed to spending time with Miss O'Rourke if she was in my shoes. And I think it's more important for the boys to be able to see their father and to see their mother. And, you know, I keep on trying. I keep on running into walls with Miss O'Rourke because we just don't. She doesn't work with me. She doesn't work with me at all, hardly, except for the Zoom call. She'll adjust those times once in a while.
All right. In determining that Mr. Bravo Hernandez has one more of these weekend visits to complete before the boys go to California, you did not count his visit here in August. Is that correct, Monica?
To answer your question directly, he did not see the children in August. I had notified him on June 1st that we were traveling to that we would be out of town. I didn't say we were going to Texas, but I notified him on June 1st that the children would not be available for the visit in August. He requested on June 21st to visit during the weekend that I had already 3 weeks previously told him we would not be in town. His decision to come to Kansas was his decision to come to Kansas, but I had notified him 2.5 months earlier that we would not be available for that visit, as that was a visit that I had scheduled with extended family that we had been trying to schedule and calendar since the previous February.
Why was it so difficult to schedule that Dallas visit?
My cousin has 6 kids. and very full life. I have the 2 kids in soccer. And so getting our schedules to align for like a family get together is very, very, very difficult. That's why we had that particular weekend, and it was the only weekend. Otherwise, I would have rescheduled it. I would have happily rescheduled it, but it was the only weekend that we had available. Like I said, we'd been trying to schedule since February, and if we didn't go that weekend, we probably wouldn't have been able to visit this year at all. And I had explicitly told him on June 1st, these are the weekends that were available. I gave him 4 different weekends. And he said, well, those won't work with my work schedule. So I gave him 5 additional weekends that we could be available. So I gave him a total of 9 weekends to choose from. And I have a hard time believing that out of 9 weekends, none of those would work for his work schedule. Going back to the visit in January, and I am concerned, and this is part of my concern where I don't know exactly what it's called in Kansas, an evidentiary hearing, I think is the name of it, where I can present documents to you to substantiate facts, in that Mr. Bravo stated that in January of 2025, he stated that he didn't visit. I have the documentation from the visitation exchange place that he did indeed visit in January of 2025. The hearing was on January 15th of 2025. The judge scheduled the visitation a week and a half later, and he was able to get off work just fine to complete that visit in a very short notice. So I have a hard time believing that, given 9 weekends over the course of 3 months, that there wasn't one weekend that he couldn't visit the kids alternate to that weekend, instead of and additionally, the 48-hour notice is not in the court order either. It is a 30-day notice that was written as the court order. Additionally, we do communicate exclusively via Talking Parents, the Talking Parents app. I'm not sure if this court uses that as a co-parenting tool, but it is so all of these conversations and the communications regarding visitations are documented through that app. So the evidence is present that states that I've given him multiple options for visitation. I am not trying to keep him from visiting his sons. I am definitely trying to work with him. And also, I believe that it's reasonable that I not be required to cancel travel plans with family that we've been trying to get done for 6 months when there were other weekends available.
All right. First of all, Benjamin, if you were notified 2 months in advance that there was a conflict on that particular weekend in August, I would have expected you to work with Monica on that and reschedule to a different weekend in August.
Your Honor.
Okay, you don't need to respond. I'm just telling you what my point of view would be on that. But with that said, Monica, Dad has painfully little time with his boys. And I don't know what his scheduling considerations are in trying to get free to come to Kansas, but he's the one that's making the effort to come here. Dad is going to win out over visitation with any other person virtually every time. And you should have changed your Dallas travel plans to accommodate him. But that's water under the bridge. The bottom line is here, Benjamin, I'm going to consider that since you made a good faith effort to visit the boys in August, that is one of your weekends that was contemplated by the California order. You don't have to make it up. Now, I realize you didn't get time with your boys. That's not what I'm saying here. But as far as the requirements you've met that requirement. And I think Monica conceded that you had completed 4 of the 5, not including that. So now you've got 5 out of 5. So where do we go from here? In looking at the California order, it does not reconcile with a Kansas school schedule. I don't want at least the 11-year-old to have his entire educational program disrupted by this visitation plan that California put in place, apparently based on an entirely different, perhaps even a year-round school schedule. So the court's going to put a stay on the implementation of that portion of the order, which apparently called children shall reside with the father on odd-numbered months, commencing on Friday at 6 and concluding on Sunday at 6. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Is that
Your Honor,
meant to just be a weekend?
I'd like to chime in.
Go ahead.
It's because when I put in my request for the order, the boys were they were being like in a program like what Ben's in right now. So they were it was more like a flexible type situation, but obviously the school situation has changed, and Sam is in schooling himself, so it is kind of a little bit difficult.
Okay, and then Benjamin, it's contemplated that you pay for these plane rides for your sons to come out to California?
No, we're supposed to split the cost of
Is that in the order?
Yeah, it should be in the order where we split the cost of the ticket and the travel cost.
What does it cost to fly those boys to California and back?
If we get them ahead of time, it probably costs about $700 to $800 round trip for each one.
Yeah, I see.
Your
I
Honor,
see that clause, paragraph 6.11.
it's actually more because we either have to pay for 3 plane tickets for either I have to fly with them or they have to travel as unaccompanied minors, which almost doubles the price of the ticket. So the tickets are closer to $1,000 each as an unaccompanied minor, or 3 plane tickets at approximately $700, which equates to it's kind of a wash either way.
Okay. Benjamin, despite the court's earlier order, have you already made plans to come back to Kansas for a visit?
Yeah, I had talked to Ben and Sam yesterday, and I was looking at the month of October to come visit the boys to take them to a Chiefs game. Hopefully, I can do that. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can come out there at the end of October to see if I can visit with them. So
Your Honor, nothing has been communicated to me regarding any travel plans at all. And I am also still going to request a 30-day advance notice, because the boys are both involved in multiple soccer leagues and working now.
And I can take them to the soccer leagues when I am there, so it's not a big issue.
They would play on Saturday morning, I presume, or Saturday afternoon.
Right. Yeah, I've been to their games too.
Well, some of the league play is actually out of town, so that's where it gets tricky. Again, I'm totally willing to work with him, and he's absolutely has already been involved in their participation in soccer, and I think it's really healthy for the boys that when he's able to come to Kansas and he's able to support them here in the things that they love and that they're involved in, it's really good for them. I just want to make sure that the request, that we don't have a repeat of I understand what you're saying about changing travel plans with family. Also, if I were to ask the kids to miss an entire tournament weekend out of town to accommodate visitation, that would be devastating to them.
All right. Does Benjamin have their soccer schedule?
No.
Monica sent it to him. Email it to him.
Okay. Yeah,
that way he's aware
it's a combination of multiple places. So yeah, there's not one place to access that, but I can send it. Also note that it changes regularly. I will note that it changes regularly. I just got a message yesterday from the oldest child's coach, requesting additional games and changing the schedule for this weekend. And just 30 minutes ago, I got a message from the youngest child's coach changing his schedule for this weekend as well. So just to note that the schedule changes a lot pretty regularly.
Hey, Your Honor, I also want to bring something before the court. I am trying to get access to the boys' school records and attendance. And the last time I visited Kansas, I did go up to Sam's school, and I talked to the school principal. I showed her the custody order, and basically she told me that she was not going to provide any of that information, and that she was going to contact law enforcement because she needed them to review the order to make sure it was legit.
Mhm.
Apparently, somebody put some thoughts in their head, and so this week I followed up. Actually, I followed up like 2 times already with the school district to see why I haven't had access to Sam's school grades and attendance and stuff. And the principal at the school is refusing to provide me with the same access that Miss O'Rourke has. Um, I think I don't know what Mr. O'Rourke is telling them, but it feels like it seems like what they're operating off of is the idea that there's still a restraining order out there, but there isn't a restraining order, and Miss O'Rourke is not protected. The kids are not protected. Uh, and that's why I went up to the school and I showed him the custody order, and it says that I have access to be able to view my son's school grades and any of his school reports and stuff. But I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if the custody order the language needs to be changed up or what.
Do you know what paragraph of your California order you're referring to that
Yeah,
grants you this information?
right.
Do you have that in front of you?
No, I don't have it in front of me, but I do remember it.
Well, Mr. Bravo Hernandez, this court has no intention of limiting your access to their educational records. You have every right to those.
Right. Yeah, I think the school system believes that there might be a restraining order or something. I'm not really sure if Mr. O'Rourke shared that with them, but from the way the principal reacted to me when I showed her the paperwork, and it seemed like almost like they were trying to protect mom and protect the kids from me, which that should not be the case because there's never been any violence when it came to like a criminal act, or there was a restraining order. I get that, but that's through the family court, and that's a little bit different. Um, and I'm not really sure what occurred or who told what to the school principal, but she definitely is not very interested in working with me.
Hmm.
I
Well,
have
there are a lot
given,
of messy situations they have to deal with, Mr. Bravo Hernandez. Certainly, this isn't the only case where interpretation of court orders is involved. And when you try to present a California decree to a Kansas educational institution, I'm sure they're first just going to kind of be resistant. We
Yeah,
often run into this situation when Kansas orders are being enforced in other states. They generally just want to see some sort of localized order.
right. So I
Uh,
actually got two different reactions because one school principal from Ben's school, that school principal, that staff over there, took the paperwork, made a copy, and then granted me access to the information. And then the other school, So I have access to Ben's school grades and his information, but I don't have access to Sam's school, which is kind of weird to me, but it is what it is. I'll keep trying.
Mm. What weekend in October were you contemplating you would take the boys to a Chiefs game?
Yeah, I have to look at the schedule, but I wanted to do it like late October, because obviously I have to, with my employer, I have to put in 30 days in advance in order to get time off. And so that kind of convolutes things too as well. So,
Well, if
but
the
yeah,
boys have a soccer event, you may want to just ask them if they'd rather go to a Chiefs game than participate on their soccer team, which very well may be
right.
counting on them to play. But
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible.
to me,
I'm not,
that's a great father-son experience potentially, Mr.
yeah,
Bravo. I would
absolutely.
support it. I would expect you to take him to a game that the Chiefs win. I don't want them traumatized by a Chiefs loss if they go see it in person.
They actually became Chiefs fans all of a sudden.
Well, as they should. It's kind of our local team here in Kansas.
Right. Yeah, it's a good cheer them.
With that said, Mr. Bravo, the court certainly supports you coming in October. In fact, I think that's a great plan for the immediate future. I do note that you have a winter break division order, which would give you extended time in California, the boys, over the
Yeah,
winter break, which traditionally we call the Christmas break.
right,
Apparently in California, that's called the winter break.
right,
But apparently there's a division of that period each year, first half, second half type of thing, if I recall.
correct.
Obviously, the court would expect that would take place, that you could get extended time somewhere in that neighborhood of time around Christmas that you could spend with you and your family out there in California, Mr. Bravo.
Yeah,
But what the court would really envision for now is this October visit. Whether you're going to soccer tournaments around here or you're taking the kids to a Chiefs game, that seems to be the best plan. But you need to get that date locked in and give Monica notice of it, and then the court will expect her to comply with it.
right.
And again,
So
go
as
ahead.
far as because I think they had talked about splitting the. I don't remember if it was splitting Thanksgiving or like getting some time at Thanksgiving.
Well, I looked at that and as I thought that the odd numbered years were Monica's, but let me look at that. The holiday will be with the mother during odd numbered years, and
Oh,
2025 is an odd numbered years. So
okay.
Thanksgiving would appear, according to the California order, to be Monica's period. And the next
I
set
wouldn't
to
get
them
them
will
until
be
December.
winter break.
Correct. So I wouldn't see them again until December. Is that what you're saying, Judge?
Well, with Thanksgiving being hers this year, I mean, I, this court really doesn't want to limit you coming out here. If you want to come here where it won't disrupt the kids' school, you have some pretty liberal permission from this court to come. Of course, you
Yeah,
always
it's
need
just
to let Monica know you're coming.
right. Yeah, it's just my days off are during the week, so it makes it a little tougher because obviously there's limitations to vacation time. Uh, but um, I would definitely love to see my kids during the breaks. I don't know if the court can adjust like the 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 schedule itself because if we're not going to be doing the every other month thing like that custody thing had stated, at least I should be able to get the kids during the breaks that they have. Um, like Christmas, spring break, because obviously mom hasn't. She's living in Kansas, so it's going to be a little difficult trying to see the boys and not have access to them. I don't know if
You have winter break each year. So
Right.
you have at least some period in there. Schools
Right.
take off way too long for winter break, in my opinion, but in a custody and visitation situation, it works out well because it allows extended time for both parents, given the
Right.
length of the break. So you have that in December, according to the existing order.
And I
Would
think there's
Monica
something
be
about
inclined to allow the father to have Thanksgiving break this year?
I would request that I request two things that, since the, um, since he is able to get off work during the week, that he use his days off over the Thanksgiving break to be able to come out here without having to take work off to visit the kids here during Thanksgiving so that they continue to maintain their normal lives and lives with their peers and involvement in soccer mainly. Historically, there's a soccer camp over Thanksgiving break that occurs every year that they would miss out on. Additionally, I need to look at the soccer schedule because it occurs to me that I think they have an out-of-town tournament that weekend as well, but I would have to look. So I would request that the visit happen here since he could take the weekdays that he has off and see the kids since they wouldn't have school and then
All right.
and then still be able to be involved with their lives here.
All right. Bravo, I think she's trying to make an accommodation here. As far as the kids going to California on her Thanksgiving year, she essentially doesn't want to allow that. But apparently, if you want to come to Kansas again in November, she would share time with you during that break. So that's a reasonable accommodation since it is, according to the California court order, her year. She doesn't have to allow any of it. So I think that's something you should at least consider. But I do want to make it clear that the winter break, it's contemplated that you can take the kids to California, Mr. Bravo.
right.
Now I
Yeah, it
realize
won't
it's
be.
December, but December will be here before you know it.
Yeah.
It really will. So plans should be set in place as quickly as you can regarding flights. And you got to look at how the spring or the winter break falls because it's tied very definitely to the last day they're in school and then the day they resume. So and then they contemplate that there's a middle day in the center of that. So you two are going to need to work out exactly what half constitutes what days. Okay, and the order says,
I think that's one of the toughest things right now is to try to work out anything with this.
well, but you can, and you're going to need to.
I have tried. I've been doing this for like since 2018, and we haven't really come to too many agreements.
The first part of the winter break is with the mother this year. The second part of that is yours, Mr. Bravo.
Probably that.
So what you really need is an Andover Central School calendar.
Yeah, I'll get one.
Okay.
I'll get one from
Then you can determine what the first day of the break is and what the day that they resume school again. Okay. And then somewhere right in the middle, that's when you make the transfer, the exchange. Now you two can work out something different. We can be more liberal with Mr. Bravo, but I want to make sure he has at a minimum what's guaranteed him in section 4.03 of the order, which is a full half of the winter break. And then you can maybe plan flights accordingly, Mr. Bravo.
Right.
And at 13 and 11, I've flown enough to know that there are kids much younger than these two that fly on their own successfully. They may have a little bit of airline guidance, but
The airline legally requires them to um, have accompaniment. Like I already looked into flights and I think the age limit is like 14 or 15 years. I think it's 15. 14 and under is required to fly as an unaccompanied minor and required to pay the extra fee. Additionally, just considering numerous factors, the order provides that either they fly as an unaccompanied minor and pay the additional fee, or an adult accompanies them. So as such, being Christmas break, I would fly out there with them and then expect that we would split the cost of those flights as stated in the order.
So Bravo?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It is pretty pricey for me. I do pay like $1,300 in child support every month, so somehow or another I have to figure out a way to do the cost of the ticket, but it should be fun, hopefully.
Well, that consideration was something that I raised to California, in that I actually calculated how much the order would cost for the children flying out to California versus having Mr. Bravo visit them here, and the cost was approximately half if Mr. Bravo visits them here versus the kids flying out to California, and that includes the cost of his hotel and car rentals.
Okay. That very well may be, but they need to spend some California time with California family, because you do have some extended family out there, don't you, Mr. Bravo?
Yeah, most of my family is raised Ben and Sam from like the early years and stuff.
And I assume they want to see these boys?
Absolutely, they do.
Okay.
They really enjoy being around them and stuff.
Well, I would like to implement as much of the existing California order, which is feasible under the circumstances, and the court intends to enforce the winter break provisions as written, at least for now. Let's try it this year and see how it works.
Copy that.
All right, what else do we need to address, Monica?
Just to clarify, currently there's a stay on phase 3 of the order, and with the exception of winter break being in California, and the option for Mr. Bravo to visit a weekend in October. I took a quick glance at the schedule, and I'm pretty sure the only weekend that would be available would be that last weekend of October, as the kids have tournaments and out of town stuff. I can double check and I will confirm with him, but I'm pretty sure it's that last weekend of October is the only one available. And that I also gave the option, if he would choose to visit like on his days off, which I believe are like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, according to the kids, I think, during Thanksgiving here as well. Do I have all of that correct?
Yeah, he's supposed to get 48 hours continuously during his visits.
Correct.
So
Yes.
I don't care if that's Tuesday to Thursday, Monday to Wednesday, or Friday to Sunday. As long as Mr. Bravo gets his time, whatever makes the most sense as far as your work schedule is concerned, Mr. Bravo, and what's good for the boys.
Copy that.
Yeah, of course, they need to be in school when they're supposed to be in school.
Yeah, I usually have during the week they give me like the days off, so I usually get 3 days off, and so you just have to check the schedule for that specific. Because I'm kind of like a fill-in at my position right now, and so whenever they need me, they fill me in. It's not a consistent schedule. So.
Okay. So a Kansas visit potentially the last weekend of October, a Kansas visit potentially the first part of Thanksgiving break when he has off work, and then a California visit as written by the order. And anything beyond that, there's a stay on the order.
Which means next year is going to come, and we need to figure out what the long-term plan is going to be here.
Yeah, I think the the one thing that the previous judge was expressing too is that, um, the boys being moved to Kansas, kind of, put a little bit of, I'm not saying that this, but like it put a little bit more onus on, putting the boys in sports activities and creating a schedule where they're consistently busy. Uh, is great and stuff, but it also constrains my ability to visit with them, uh, because they're always being placed in activities. When they were in activities here, I was actually coaching them in soccer, coached them in football, coached them in various sports, basketball, you name it. And I was always in attendance at their sports activities and stuff. Um, but now with the situation that it is, it kind of creates a whole different dilemma in that, um, Mr. O'Rourke is really good at scheduling stuff and putting things on the calendar. But if there's a visit that has to be made, like I think it's more important for the boys to spend time with their dad, especially since the last few years I've been limited to my ability to see these boys, and I hope the court recognizes that. As Ben and Sam get older, it's great that they're around their mom, but they also need their father, and I can completely see it when I'm around them. Sometimes they um, don't have the discipline that they should have. They don't. There's just certain things that you pick up from your dad that you won't pick up from your mom and stuff because we're constructed differently. And that's why I think like yeah, it's great that they have soccer. I'm all about sports activities. I'm the biggest sports guy out there. But it also them being in Kansas that does limit. It creates a different dynamic in terms of being able to visit with them and stuff. So
It's a fair point, Mr. Bravo.
yeah,
We're going to set a review hearing in this case in January. Mandy, can you suggest a date? I like the 2 o'clock setting because that's noon in California, right, Mr. Bravo?
right.
Theoretically, if you have to take a lunchtime break to do these hearings, then it would be less disruptive to a work schedule. Is that a fair
Right.
statement?
Yeah, I usually work a 10-hour shift, so yeah, I can take off a little extra time if I need to.
Okay. Well, let's look for a 2 o'clock p.m. setting again, Central Time, 12 Pacific, for early January. Mandy, what could you offer?
January 12th.
Okay. January 12th, 2026, 2 o'clock p.m. This court will review the status of parenting time orders.
January 12th at 2 p.m.
Correct. Our time. 12 noon, Mr. Bravo's time. And I hope everything goes smoothly when it comes to Dad's visits between now and then. But go ahead and get this October thing locked down as soon as you can, Mr. Bravo, because that's going to come up real quick here.
I will.
And apparently the last week of October is going to work. So if you can maybe focus on that time period and get some quality time with your boys.
Absolutely. Love that.
All right.
And then at the review hearing, will that be, I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around Kansas terms versus having been in California courts for a long time. Is that a space to present evidence and witnesses regarding a path forward? Are we just having a conversation?
That's not what the court contemplates. I'm not contemplating a trial of any kind or even an evidentiary hearing. What the court wants to do in January is determine what's happened since this case has been under Kansas jurisdiction and where we need to go forward from there. And the court would perhaps make some modification orders as the court has today. Or if necessary, I can set a trial date then if there's really some serious contested matter that needs to be set for hearing at that time. So it's a
Okay.
non-evidentiary hearing that the court contemplates on January the 12th.
Okay. And then if I were, or if either one of us were to want to have some sort of legal representation, would that be a space where they would come
Yes.
to that then?
Well, I encourage both of you being represented by Kansas legal counsel, but
Okay.
so far you've proceeded pro se in the Kansas court system. So
Correct.
yes, you're both welcome and encouraged to have legal counsel representing you at any and all hearings in this court.
And then is there anything that, now that the case is here, is there any additional documentation or things that need to be filed in order to give you kind of a background or a history of what has transpired up to this point that has affected the decision-making up until now?
Well, the court is quite aware of the content of the last two California orders that were issued in that state. The court has currently, as part of its file, the existing California decree. As far as the court's concerned, I'm less interested in what has gone on in the past, but rather what's going on now and where we need to go in the future.
Perfect. Yeah, the only reason I asked is because I had a conversation with the California court clerk regarding transferring documents, and I was very confused by their response. And so that's why I was like, I just don't know what to do here.
It's not a venue transfer where we take the whole file and move it to another court. This is a transfer of child custody jurisdiction from an existing California case to an existing Kansas case. I have what I need to go forward.
Perfect.
I don't need any more documents from California.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to confirm.
Not at this point.
Okay.
So, all right.
All right.
Benjamin, anything further at this time?
Yeah, the only thing is I'm not really sure, but sometimes I do have trouble accessing the boys on Zoom from time to time, and I do reach out to Mr. O'Rourke about trying to reschedule and stuff, but Mr. O'Rourke doesn't want to reschedule that sometimes. So not sure if the court can make an adjustment to where like
how often is that supposed to be taking place?
It happens pretty frequently where Mr. O'Rourke is traveling with the boys somewhere.
Well, I'm just asking, does the court order address Zoom visits?
Yeah, it is. It addresses the Zoom meetings. You know, like I'm supposed to visit with them on Mondays and Tuesdays from I forget the time. I think it's like 3:30 my time or something, and 5:30 the boys time. But I'm not really. I don't remember.
Why don't we do that later?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to, because my schedule, my work schedule, like I said, is just like all over the place. And, you know, when I try to reach out to the boys, it becomes a little difficult trying to get in contact with them because Ms. Rourke won't make them available or they don't have their cell phone or whatever it may be.
Well, Mr. Bravo, according to the order, you have a right to insist on 2 times a week, Monday and Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, which would be 8:30 p.m. here.
Right.
The order specifically says if you don't agree on something else, that's the rule.
Right.
Monday and Tuesday.
That's what I was trying to tell the judge before, that my work schedule is kind of like it changes from week to week. It's not the same.
Oh, I see.
Like,
you're not always available
Monday,
6:30 at 6:30?
Yeah, sometimes like I'll work from like 2:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Monday. Sometimes like this upcoming Monday, I'll work from 12 to 1 in the morning. And you know, the next Monday I might have Monday off. It just like varies. Just depends on the work schedule for that week.
Well, I think 30 minutes 2 times a week isn't very much. I would just expect Monica to work with you on that, but just communication. You know, if you make a reasonable request to move your Zoom visit to some other time in the week when you're off work and available, that makes sense to me that you do that.
Absolutely.
I don't want your boys thinking you don't care about them.
Right. Which I do try to reach out to Mr. Roy, but sometimes she'll say the boys are not available for visits.
But they're not going to stay up until 1:30 p.m. Pacific time to visit with you either.
No, absolutely. I don't ask that either.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. times and stuff. I don't ask them to do other things, do things they're not supposed to.
Again, Your Honor, I would just state that the boys are made available for Zoom visitation. I'm very accommodating to changing the Zoom visitation schedule very regularly, and all of the communication regarding Zoom visitations and the kids' availability. And when Mr. Bravo shows up for the visitations and also when he doesn't show up for the visitations is all recorded in the Talking Parents record. So I would love to have this issue addressed again in a space where that type of evidence can be presented so that these types of allegations that are being made can be shown to be false. The boys do see him on Zoom. I do work with him in his work schedule all of the time to change Zoom times. Additionally, there are times when on our side, things come up and we have to change the schedule. The boys are made available. The boys have a phone. They are also teenagers and don't necessarily keep it charged, keep it on them, have it all the time. It's a kid-safe phone, so they're not on the internet and they're not on their phone like some kids are, where they're constantly using their phone. But his ability to communicate with the children anytime outside of Zoom, text and call has never been limited. The only thing I request is that, obviously while Sam is at school, he doesn't have any devices with him. While Ben does his schooling here at home, I still don't allow him to have devices. He's supposed to be working on his schoolwork during the day, but other than that, he has access and they can communicate, and I have encouraged that communication. So I would, and they are available for Zoom. And I work with them on making sure that they're available for Zoom and trying to figure out scheduling, trying to find times that work for everyone. And all of the evidence is there. There's also, because the Zoom account that we use is a business, it's a pro account. So Zoom also tracks all of the meeting attendance. So as additional evidence of when Zooms happen, there is the backup of the actual Zoom logs that show when he has attended Zooms with the kids.
All right. Again, we're going forward from here. Mr. Bravo, stay regularly involved with your boys the way you're supposed to, and then I'll expect Monica to accommodate it. Okay?
All
right. Good luck in having everything work smoothly between now and the end of the year.
Thank you, sir.
All right. If there's nothing further at this time, this matter will currently be in recess. This meeting may be ended for all.
Okay, next is Sierra Antoinette McGill. Sierra Antoinette McGill. Last call. Oh, McGill's coming up.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. What we got, Mr. Tipton?
One moment, Your Honor, having issues with the website still. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor, this is gonna require a hearing.
All right, let's go ahead and tee it up.
Yes, Your Honor. Is the court ready, Your Honor?
I am.
All right, Your Honor. It'll be a gray BMW.
Okay. Ooh, that car on the outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Yeah. Now, Miss Gill, what was going on?
My view was obstructed for the first stop arm, and the second stop arm, I didn't even see that. It came out as I was passing. I was just in court a little bit over a year ago for the same ticket for lack of knowledge. So after I had my first hearing with you, I became knowledgeable of the do's and don'ts. I literally could not see for the traffic on the left hand side. I mean, I wouldn't intentionally do it again when I just paid money over a year ago. But
I
then,
get that, Miss McGill, but if the cars in front of you are stopping, you're on the outside, you see them slowing, you sped past that other car.
what I was doing, I was out doing, I had just got off on my first job. I was out doing lift that day. When I looked at those buses, I did not see an arm. As the first arm is coming out on the
But the buses were pulled over.
correct. I think the buses pulled over, but I did not see a stop arm.
I got you.
If
But
you
what,
look at the
remember,
first bus, the car was in my way. There's no way I seen the stop sign coming out.
remember our conversation is that before is that when you see the bus pull over, there's a good indication that, especially if it's during school hours, that they're gonna stop.
Where they was parked at, I would have thought they was pulling out from the school.
Because the white car stopped.
I
The
just
car
know
that you
I
went
did not see the
past,
stop
it
sign.
stopped. Play it again, Mr. Tipton. Well, not the white car. I think it was a red car. Yeah.
The red car is on the side where they can actually see the stop arm. I could not see it.
Well, Miss McGill, you're responsible for seeing the entire road, so I don't know how you couldn't see that.
If cars are passing me on my driver's side, if the stop sign is coming out, I can't
Okay,
see
but
through their
you
car.
said that wrong. You said if cars are passing me on my driver's side. That car wasn't passing you. You were passing the car.
Can you play it again?
Yes, ma'am. You passed two cars. You passed the black car. Let's see. It's hard for me to go ahead. We'll show you. All right. So the arm is coming out. You're coming behind one car. You keep going. You pass the red car. You keep going.
Look at the stop sign
You
now,
didn't
though.
even
When I
slow
passed
down.
the red car, the stop
Yeah.
sign wasn't completely lit out.
You-
How would I know they're stopping for a stop sign and I
It-
can't see what they see on the other side of the street?
What did I tell you before? If a bus is pulled over, you need to anticipate they're gonna be letting kids out. And so the other car was going slow enough to where it stopped. That red car stopped.
I don't recall that conversation because last time it was a totally different scenario. I just was totally unknowledgeable. This time it's a
See,
different
it's all
scenario,
the
and it's like
time.
I'm always in the wrong, even if I didn't see it.
No, it's just that you need to be more careful around buses or change your route. I changed my route to where I go through as few school areas as possible. I'll take a longer route around to avoid a school area.
Honestly, I do now, but this particular day I had a passenger with me. I just went the way the Lyft app actually took me.
I got you, but you got to pay attention because two cars saw that.
And those two cars, the bus was on their left hand side.
But there was a space in between where you passed the first car and then you passed the second car.
Can you work with me some kind of way on this? This is
No,
my
ma'am. Look, the law, they have taken our ability away from to work with you. They really have. I reread the statute last week, just last week, because the same things were coming up. It is a solid $1,000. They don't let us work with you.
I mean, I just didn't see the stop arm, and it's just going to be my defense whether I win or lose. I did not see that stop arm. When I spotted those buses parked there was no arms out. When the first arm came out, that was not in my clear view of the bus. When the second arm came out, I was already passing the bus.
And when you say the second arm, what are you talking about?
It's two buses here.
Okay, so you had two buses that you passed?
But I did not see a stop arm, and if you look at the second bus, I had done passed it before the arm came out. Completely.
That's not helpful.
Well, I went over with my legal shield, so if I gotta pay, I gotta pay. But from my point of view, I just did not see it.
Okay, well,
I glanced at the buses, there were no stop arm out.
The most I can do is give you 90 days to pay. So I'll give you 90 days in which to pay. I'm sorry. I'm hearing video. Miss Sims, go ahead and mute your device, please. Please keep your devices muted. Ladies and gentlemen, if I see you, if you're here in the Zoom, you don't need to unmute to let me know that you're here. I'm conducting business, and when I get to you, then I'll ask you to unmute. But until I get to you, I don't need to hear all the stuff that's going on in the background. You don't need to mute to check in that I know you're here. I know you're here. I'll let you know. All right. So, Ms. McGill, you have an email address you want this order sent to?
Yes, at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. We'll get that to you. All right. Be careful, Ms. McGill.
All right, the court will call the case of the state of Michigan versus Lindsay Dineski, case number 24S00096.
Tiffany Woods for the people. Allison Muller here on behalf of Lindsay Duneski. Ms. Duneski, can you state your name, please?
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to unmute. Lindsay Dineski?
Thank you. All right, we're here for a pretrial today, and are you in possession of all of the documents that your client has filed?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, can we see counsel in the breakout room? We're back on the record in the case of the state of Michigan versus Lindsay Dineski. You don't need to place your appearances back on. We had a brief discussion regarding all of the filings that were filed, although the defendant has an attorney in this particular case. So at this point in time, we need to make a record of what's going on in this matter, and we can go from there. Ms. Moeller, it looks like your client submitted 4 different filings. First of all, the court has no requirement because we're not a email e-filing court to accept emailed pleadings. We did do so. Your client was advised that there is a page limit to how much we'll accept for any one hearing. So that happened, and you should be aware that that did happen as well, and that she will need to follow any filing requirements in the future. And I believe that she represented to staff that she had filed those with the prosecutor's office. Ms. Woods is indicating she did not receive them. I don't know whether they were filed with the prosecutor's office or not. Having said that, do you have a copy of the filings that your client filed with the court?
I do, Your Honor. I received those. Those filings were sent to the court, and just now, realizing they were not sent to prosecution, I have forwarded those to Ms. Woods.
Thank you.
I sent them to the other prosecutor. I apologize. Her name was Ellie, I think, because that was the one who it said she was the prosecutor for the county. So I just probably sent it to the wrong prosecutor.
So it is a he. That is
He,
the
okay.
chief prosecutor, Ellie Savitt, and they probably did not get sent to the proper place because of the way you filed them.
I filed them the way I was instructed to file them. I called and asked for instructions, and I did what I was told. So I was told that the filing requirements were to email them, and that's what I did. So, and then I was notified after the fact that there was a limit. They made an exception because they didn't notify me. And then I told them I emailed the prosecutor, verified the email. And so as far as I know, the chief prosecutor got them. I just didn't know that I was supposed to send them to the other prosecutor too. I thought, notice to agent and notice to principal. So I thought if I sent them to the main prosecutor, any of the assistant prosecutors would get them. Because I didn't know which one would be on the case today.
Ms. Woods?
Yes, Judge. I mean, I'm just opening up one of the files now. I mean, I would need time to review all of this. I would not be able to. Yeah, I would need time to review all of these, Judge.
Thank you. All right. So first of all, Ms. Dineski has counsel. So whether or not she should or has the ability to file filings in the first place is something I'm still mulling over because she has counsel. So any pleadings should come through her counsel. And
Yeah, they refused to file it. So,
ma'am, I didn't say.
oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
And then, secondly, These are not proper pleadings. They're not filed in the proper format. They're not filed with the proper spacing. They're not filed according to any of the court rules. So
They
that's
don't have to be though,
ma'am,
which I put
they do.
on there.
Ma'am, if you speak up one more time, you're going to be held in contempt of court.
But I thought this was my hearing. I should be able to
Ma'am,
speak on my
all
own
right.
behalf.
You're not able to speak on your own behalf unless you don't have counsel, and you need to stop talking. One more talking, it's going to find you in contempt of court, and I'm going to give you 15 days. So please stop talking. Ms. Woods is indicating that she needs time to look at those pleadings and to be able to respond. Ms. Moeller, what is your position? I haven't heard anything from you today because she actually has.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Neski and I did, prior to the last pretrial, discuss. I didn't know exactly what she was going to be filing, but I did understand the basis of her legal argument. Her and I had a conversation where I didn't agree with the grounds for filing. It is correct that I said I would not be filing this on her behalf because I found the legal argument not to be correct. At this hearing, then Ms. Duneski did file these motions, and so I would discuss it further with my management, but I would not be proceeding with these arguments at a hearing if the court were to set it for that. I understand Ms. Duneski does want to proceed with these arguments, and I believe that she's requesting to represent herself if this court sets this for a motion hearing.
Now, Ms. Duneski, are you requesting to represent yourself?
Well, I'm asserting my right to represent myself. I'm not requesting.
All right, then if you're not requesting to represent yourself, then what's going to happen is you're going to continue to have counsel.
Well, I'm asserting my right, which is much stronger than requesting. I shouldn't have to request something that I have a right to. It just should be automatic, right?
All right.
Like the Sixth Amendment and the Constitution.
It is, ma'am.
Yes.
It is not automatic. So first,
the Sixth Amendment says, right?
Talking.
Well, you asked me a question. I'm answering under the Sixth Amendment.
Heard you. Nope. Stop talking. So look, this is the way it's going to work. I'm going to give you what your rights are. And then if you make a choice to represent yourself, you can, after I've finished giving you those rights. Do you understand that part?
I comprehend it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, first of all, what you're charged with is police officer assaulting, resisting, obstructing. It's an attempt. It has a maximum penalty of up to 1 year in the Washtenaw County Jail. Do you understand that part?
I comprehend that that's what you're charging with. I don't understand it because it's false.
Okay. Do you understand that that is what the maximum penalty is?
I do, which is why this is unconstitutional, because I was the victim in the case and falsely arrested.
I think what I'm going to do is refer her to make sure she's competent, because at this point in time, if she can't understand and she wants to use a different word, then I guess what I need to do is figure out.
Comprehend means that I know what it means. Okay. Understand means that I'm understanding the court, and I am not understanding the court because I'm challenging jurisdiction. I don't need a competency evaluation. I see a psychiatrist every month because I have ADD. So if you would like me to present to you that I'm mentally fit, that's fine. But for you to say that I have to have a competency evaluation with no cause because I'm asserting my rights, that's a violation of Shearer versus Cullen. All I'm doing is asserting my right to represent myself.
Referred for competency. We'll prepare an order so she can be evaluated so we can determine.
Well, I object to that. I object to the competency
whatever
evaluation.
You want to object to, but if you don't participate, then I'll put you in custody until we get an exam done.
But why? But you have to say that there has to be a reason. There has to be a cause for it. And I have a right to know why you are forcing me to do something that I don't want to do when I thought I had a presumption of innocence. I thought I'm supposed to not have my right.
For competency, you need to stop talking. And if you don't participate, I'm going to put you in custody. And I already placed on the record why.
Okay, and also, isn't the officer supposed to be here today to testify?
No, that is not how that works. See, you don't know anything about this, and that's why you shouldn't be representing yourself. But
I do. The preliminary exam was supposed to have witnesses.
This is not a preliminary examination, ma'am.
Oh, I thought that's what that was. I was just under the impression it was a preliminary
competency. And I'm going to schedule this for a hearing on November 20th in person, so we can have these conversations in person and see if they go any
Well, I
different.
don't have any way to get there. I live very far away from where this is
Then
now.
I think when you get picked up and you're required to come here by police, then you'll have a way to
But
get here.
why would that be necessary? All I'm asking, I'm challenging jurisdiction, which I'm allowed to do without being retaliated against. You're retaliating against me because I'm challenging the jurisdiction of the court. And
That
that's
is
a
not what's
violation
going
of my
on. Yeah,
rights.
okay, Ms. Doneski, you either need to be here, you need to participate in the competency, and you need to be here on November 20th, or you will
Well,
be
I'm going to be
arrested.
filing with the Court of Appeals on this
Go ahead,
and the
ma'am.
Court of Claims because this
Thank
is not
you.
okay.
All right. Bond is continued for now. Once you get the notice of your actual interview from the forensic department, if you don't participate, I'll issue a bench warrant.
Okay, well,
I'm
like I said,
done.
I'm going to be objecting to.
All right.
Okay, so the first one with Judge Ricky, I just get the impression that this mom wants to make it as difficult as possible on Dad. He has to travel to Kansas. He has to foot 50% of the bill when she should actually be footing for 100% of the bill because she is the one that moved. She's the one that took them out of state. She's the one that is, keeping them from being able to see their father on a regular, consistent basis. It's on her. So, in my opinion, she should be paying 100% of the travel costs for Dad. And I get the impression she's trying to fill up all of their days with games and tournaments and different soccer leagues and all this kind of stuff. So, it just makes it harder on Dad to have any time with them. That's just the impression I get. I feel like she's very selfish in that way. She wants Dad out. She wants him all to herself. She doesn't want to have to deal with him. So she's going to make it as difficult as possible for as long as she possibly can until he just drops out. That's the impression I get. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just the impression I get. And she keeps trying to say, I really want to work with him, except, this is more important. Except my trip to Dallas was just so much more important. No, nothing is more important than them spending time with Dad. Nothing. Not soccer, not her other family in Dallas, nothing. That's just my opinion. The second one was Tammy Long Hayward. I just thought that was funny because she streaked past that bus. She just streaked past it as fast as she possibly could. That's what I saw. And then the last one, is she right to send her for competency? I don't know. But she's the judge. She can do whatever she wants. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you another time.